E-com is entering a new era and most brands are playing by outdated rules. They're optimizing their websites while losing the battle in their content. They are scaling ads before they validated the offer. They are stuck in 2020 while the platforms, buyers, and the attention landscape have moved on. My team and I built and scaled e-com brands from scratch. We've spent 6 figures on ads, tested hundreds of creatives, and helped turn on one product idea into 7-figure store. And I can tell you this, the old playbook is completely done. Today we will break down what's actually working right now in e-com.
To tell our guys, listeners, out there,
I have a bad news for the businesses.
boost conversions at least by 15 to 20% across the board.
Guys, you need to change.
This is basically the free money.
This is changing a lot. This is changing the game. So guys, I invited my friend Nikita, expert in acquisition marketing, to discuss this topic, to discuss what we can do in e-commerce in 2025 to get successful. So welcome Nikita to my channel. Introduce yourself.
Hey Danny, thanks for having me here. Hello guys, I'll really brief with my introduction. So my name is Nikita and I help businesses scale their success with digital marketing. So over the last decade, my team and I have spent over $30 million across different advertising platforms, and we've generated over $100 million in profitable revenue for them. So yeah, that's me. Then shall we start?
Yeah, let's start. And I think the biggest topic we want to highlight from the beginning is the content, because I think content is now the front door of your business. It's not a website, it's not product page, but content is. Because video content, I found actually some data for you that Shopify reports that 78% of consumers say video directly impacts purchase decision. So as we know from video, customers now learn about your product, trust your business, and at the end of the day, they're buying from the videos. So in videos, we are doing some tutorials. We are going and checking on YouTube or TikTok what's happening on the market. We're checking on the product. So video is now everything for us. What do you think about it?
Yep, then I'm 100% here with you. We're seeing it on our side as well, that, for example, Meta Ads platform is switching from the technical setups to the content and content information, right? So I really think that if you are not testing at least 20, 30, maybe 50 different creatives a month as an e-commerce business, you are really losing, right? So from my experience, you really have to cover all the angles that you have in your business with your content. So you have to have the specific content and specific creative for each and every pain that your potential customers might be, right? So that's why in our agency, we're heavily relying on utilizing AI personalization driven content. And, we really want to have, our content and ads personalized to our customer to cover different angles, to cover their specific needs and struggles, right? From the data that we have, the AI-driven content boost conversions at least by 15 to 20% across the board, right? So I really think that for those businesses out there and those our guys out there, if you really want to become successful in 2025 with the e-commerce business, you have to rely heavily on the content. So yeah, that's my thoughts. So, which topic do we have next then?
Yeah, I want to add something to this one, because I have a bad news for the businesses. Because if you had one designer in your team and you were doing static ads mostly, yeah, bad times for you. Sorry guys, you need to change. Because we did some tests with my team and we tried to take UGC content and static ads to the same landing page with the same actually targeted audience, and we got 4 times better converting to the same landing page by UGC content, by video UGC content in a short form, through TikTok, through Instagram, through YouTube Shorts. And yeah, this means there's a huge number. This is changing a lot. This is changing the game. And the guys who were just using static ads and trying to put a lot of budget in this, yeah, you're going to be definitely behind with the guys who are now hiring UGC creator, hiring production, in-house production for themselves, because this gives them opportunity to actually grow a lot, create a lot of pieces of content every day, test them, and if they need, they can refilm it, do some post-production in it. And if you don't have it, if it's outsourced, it's also okay. But definitely, if you're a big business already right now, and if you're a big e-com shop, you need to think about in-house production. So this how content is really important now. So I want to actually move on to another topic to discuss. The next one is funnels. I want to describe that the funnels changed a lot. Yeah, we use the old game like you need landing page or store like Shopify store, we all know. You were doing like paid ads in Facebook, Instagram, yeah, obviously Meta Business Central. And then you were leading like customers to your landing page, then you were doing some trick shots there with the call to action buttons, etc., and then going to the checkout page, and that was a business. Now it's not working like this because funnels changed completely. Customers are staying on the platforms, and now they have an opportunity to buy directly from the platforms. We see TikTok shop, we see Instagram shopping, we see direct checkout on YouTube. And this gives an opportunity for the customer to see the product on the platform, or to see through the affiliate campaigns or UGC created content, and directly check out there, put in their address, and get this product from there. Not going to landing page, not going to anywhere. So you don't need to spend. You need now, as a business, you need to focus on actually doing as good content, so the customer, for this 3 seconds of attention at the beginning of the video, have end description of the product and how it covers your pain, what it solves, what problem it solves, how much it costs, and directly go to checkout on the same platform. So this is just game changer, and every business who is not doing it, again, they are gonna be behind the ones who are actually playing with this game on platforms. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm 100% here with you, Dan, as well, about how the funnels changed, right? I really want to make one step back and just tell you the recent information they found, and it's the report from the Google team, and they've described the new way of customer purchase journey, right? So they've created the entire report. I believe it's roughly 50 to 70 maybe pages, and call them the messy middle purchase journey, where they're describing how the customer intention, the customer journey through the funnels changed over the last 10 to 20 years, right? We're not longer talking about the top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel as we used to talk, right? So those are on top of funnel that are colder leads or colder users. The middle one who already have the problem, or might be familiar with your product that you are selling, right? And the bottom bottom of funnel, where those users already know your business, right? So we're really stepped away from this kind of type of funnel, and we entered a new era of the new funnels, right? So where the businesses, they have to be around those potential customers all the time, right? So as you said, you as a business, you have to rely heavily on the content, right? You have to be present across the different social media platforms. You have to use different ad tools as well, right? To be present everywhere. So we all know that, for example, the Gen X, right, or Gen Z, sorry, they're already searching for some things in TikTok or Instagram, right? They're not using the Google anymore, or even ChatGPT. They're just searching for something on Instagram, and they're buying from this platform, right? To support this, we have the data from our team that the campaign types, such as Advantage Plus campaign in the Meta Ads platform, shows one of the best results when we're launching the new ad account, right? That's basically the campaign type where you can launch your product on the Meta Ads platform, and this campaign type allows users to buy your product directly from the platform, right? So they don't need to go on your website, they don't need to fill any information, they just see the ad, they're buying immediately, that's done. So which is really, really great. But if we just want to dive a little bit deeper, so I really wanted to tell our guys, listeners, out there, that my suggestions here will be to shift your budgets towards the bottom of funnel, right? So we're seeing, in our experience, that retaining the same customer costs your business 5 times less than acquiring the new one, right? So it's basically the free money, right? So you don't really need to pay for customer acquisition one more time if you find a way for your business to just make the upsell, right? Few things here. Again, you can use the features such as buy one, get one offers, right? Or change your business to the subscription model if it's possible, right? But what I really want to tell is that if you're struggling with your e-commerce business right now, think about shifting your budgets toward the bottom of funnel heavily, as you know, the ROAS and the return of ad spend is much, much higher there, and the CPA, which is cost per acquisition, is much lower there, right? So those are my suggestions.
Okay, so basically, good points. Totally agree with you. Have some points to add. Found some data also to support that, and TikTok users are 1.7 times more likely to purchase directly from the app we see external websites. What does it mean for us as marketers? People don't want to leave the platform. People want to stay on the same platform, and even you need to put a lot of effort. You need to put a lot of budget to actually take them out of the platform and put it on your in-house platform. Even if you're going with this strategy, my recommendation here and what we are doing with our clients is to simplify your website as you can, as much as you can. So person is going to the product page directly from the video content about this product, and then check out in one click. Check out with Apple Pay, with Google Pay. It can be done with a lot of services right now, but all these long stories with, okay, can you sign up for our newsletter? All it's cool. We can tell you about this in a different videos and which strategies you should use it. But with this one, if you are taking people from TikTok especially, because they're like clicking there, watching the same content, it's already like kind of pattern of behavior in customers in today's reality. And you just need to give them opportunity to quickly click, check out, get the product. No long surveys, no put a lot of addresses, information, data, emails, phone numbers. All of this is cool. As a business, you're collecting data. But at the same time, you just gonna lose this client, and your conversion rate gonna be as low as possible. And of course, you're gonna lose to your customers. So yeah, this is the crucial and key things which we're discussing today, like content, funnels. Because you need to understand that you really need to get into this. And without this knowledge, you're going to be just losing again and again. Maybe your business is big enough for now and you're going to survive for some time. But at the same day, after 1 year, after 2 years, the game is changing. Every year is changing. If you're not adapting to these rules, next year is going to be even more new rules and you're going to be lost. So one more thing I want to actually discuss today is analytics, because I know that data is the most important for marketing. My team, myself, we are following these rules that marketing should be based on data. Obviously, we are just having some thoughts, some experience where we're implementing and discussing with our clients, but data is a key one. And I know you're a big fan of data. I know you are basically doing everything for the data. So tell about this. Tell how data is important, how analytics is important for business.
Yeah, Odin, to be honest, I could speak about the analytics and the tracking inside the businesses for ages. It's really the topic that I'm really focusing on, even when I started, as I said, over the decade ago. So when I've started, my main idea was that I don't really want to be as a, generic marketer, right? When you're just like testing something that might work, that in my opinion, this, creative will cover this problem or potential customer, and let's try to launch these ads or whatever, right? I really wanted to do my work and the work of my team, first of all, as efficient as possible. The second point is that, I really wanted to make it, as data driven as possible, right? So inside our agency, we're not doing any tests based on our ideas, on our thoughts, right? For every creative, for every ad campaign, for every idea, we have the specific blueprint, we have the specific numbers, what we are testing, right? So for example, how much should we allocate for this specific ad, or how many iterations we have to make from this specific ad, or how many ad creatives or different angles we have around the one problem that our product covers, and so on and so forth, right? So just to tell you here a little bit more information here, the one client of mine, it was years ago, they were losing over $100,000 a month due to incorrect tracking. So, and it was really, really weird for myself when, we've sat with my team and we were just making the audit of the business, right? The entire business. So the Shopify, their analytics, the ads account, the Facebook, the Google Ads, TikTok Shop as well. So, and then we had the brief with the client, we had an introduction call with the client, and I always have my main question, right? Is that what is the most you're struggling with currently, right? So what is the biggest problem inside your business? And it was really great business. So inside the ad account, we found the really good numbers, and the client on the first call, the introduction call, right, said that yeah, our Google Ads numbers, for example, or our Meta Ads numbers are pretty good, and we are profitable. But then in the end of the day, we're not matching our profits, right? So we're losing money from the business. And it was really, really tricky. So I've asked my team, to make the proper research about their analytics. And in the end of the day, we find out that the problem was in double tracking. So basically, the previous agency this business we're working with, they tried to track the same conversion by two different tools, right? Analytic tools. And I know why. I know, to be honest, why this issue, lasts so long, and it actually brought the business, to this massive loss. But it was the case that they were tracking the same conversion two times, and they were reporting to the business this double number. So it was the case where, let's say, the agency spent $100,000 a month, right? They've reported that the return on ad spend is 3x, which bring us to 300,000 of the revenue. But then we find out that basically the actual return on investment is 1.5, and the actual revenue is 150 grand, right? Compared to 300 grand, that we had before. And that's where the point, where just business started losing their money. So yeah, that's why, I always tell everyone who's working, in digital sphere here, right, is that you really have to focus on tracking a lot, right? It's the first thing. When you're launching your brand, when you're launching your products, when you do whatever you're trying to do, right? Even like if you go to the gym, right? You first making this like before pictures, you go on the scale, you measure your weight, you measure your height, right? And then from this you go somewhere else, right? You go further, you're increasing your numbers, your results, right? The same situation here. If you have the bad tracking, you will 100% become unprofitable, right? So that's pretty clear, right? One more tip that I really wanted to add here on the tracking is that my suggestions will be to rely on the first party data inside the business, right? So we all know this issue that happened a few years ago where, the iOS banned the cookie collections from the iOS devices, right? And then the businesses were struggling with, okay, so we don't have we can't really collect the cookies, from these devices. So how can we, measure the conversion rates, our buyers, what we're going to do? So that's why you have to have this first party tracking first sorted, right? So I mean, when you have your Shopify, for example, website store, right, or just online store, when your users go to the store, you have to have the pop-up and collect their email, right? You have to collect their phone number, their address. You have to add your bounty programs, loyalty programs, right? Affiliate links, and so on and so forth. So what you really need to focus is the tracking, right? And then just to finalize, this idea that I have in my mind, and I always had this idea, is that in the end of the day, what is really matter for their business is that the amount of money they've spent and the amount of net profit they have in their pockets, right? As we all know these businesses, right? They have billions in their turnover. Numbers are really great, but the net profit is point something, or they might be even losing money, and it's basically not sustainable, right? So yeah, those are my thoughts on analytics. As I said, I'm really passionate about it. So do you have any suggestions for our listeners as well?
Yeah, 100% sure what you just mentioned. Big game, big mistakes, and sometimes we're just having the problems with what previous agencies, what previous teams did. And yeah, the mistakes are super stupid, like the one you explained, and I can't believe it's happening. And yeah, they are selling their services to their businesses. Businesses are happy, they're paying them, and at the end of the day, business in non-profit. just because stupid mistakes, completely stupid mistakes. So yeah, we had also a case, really nice is it to add up with analytics, and it's not about like super data. I'm gonna tell about data a bit later, but yeah, one client came to us and ads were not performing as well as it should be. The business model was okay, the product was good. What we did is it to the point when you need to collect everything, when you need to track everything. So we were just checking what's in our chatbot, what people asking, the most frequent questions, but what the problems they are asking. Like, I have this problem, can you clarify what this product is doing, etc. I can say the product, sorry. So we just took the like statistics, what question is asked every day. Based on these questions, we did a short video content answering this question. From exact this question, we did 6 times, I don't remember, 6 point something times higher conversion to the landing page, and then very high percentage to the sales, because it was the biggest question from actual customers. They were interested into the products, they were looking at the ads were like colorful, cool, nice design. After they were coming, chatbot was not replying as correctly, as customer support wasn't as good as it should be. We were losing clients just because of this. We answered this special question just in this video and converted the guys. So yeah, this story is, marketing is a big field where you can play this game around. And one more thing is to track everything and collect. I'm definitely up for collecting emails, collecting phone numbers, collecting addresses, everything what you can collect, you need to collect, because when you're spending your budget on this, you basically, yeah, you're getting a client. We are fighting for clients here, but at the end of the day, you are as a business collecting the data source. You're collecting this data, and you basically, with this money you're putting in the budget, you are buying the data for this one. So you need to aim for this. But the problem is that what I discussed in a funnel part, that if you're gonna collect everything, phone, email, address, what do you like, what's your pet's name, how's your mother's birthday, how's like whatever, it's not gonna work, because it's gonna stop client, and it's gonna be every extra step. More steps, lower conversion rate into sale, losing clients, business non-profitable. Yeah, cool. But we collected a couple of names and a couple of emails. All cool. You need to find the balance here. So you need to find the useful way how the person can, in one step, do double action what business requires, and try to reduce the steps to actually going to your in-house source. Maybe one extra step with some survey, whatever you need. Because if you're planning to send newsletters, then you need email. If you're trying to build like your strategy on SMS, you need phone number. If you're trying to, I don't know, if it's local e-com business or something like local thing, you need to address maybe, because it's more important for your business. You need to understand, and your marketing team need to understand what is the highest, actually what needs your business, and you need to close exactly this point. Yeah, analytics, data, one of the most important things. If you're not building anything on data, you're just losing. And again, so all these 3 points, we are coming to the end, like content, funnel, data analytics. All of this is the key points which business needs for 2025, especially in e-commerce. Yeah, this can be applicable to other areas as well, but e-commerce, this is just must. Not having content, yeah, not getting leads. Not getting funnels, losing leads. Not getting data, doing wrong decisions, doing wrong strategy completely, again, losing everything. So if you're gonna be building, and again, if you're just gonna be having content, good content, but wrong funnel or wrong analytics, you don't know how to work with it, gonna lose again. If you're having just one of these 3, you're losing. It's already better. Well done for you. You're starting. But yeah, you're losing. The ones who are having these 3 at least, and there's obviously much more to say about it. But if you're having these 3, you're good on the market. So guys, if you really like this video, please subscribe, push like button, and support this brand new channel where we're going to be discussing marketing in the next videos.